Hey everyone, it's Judy Craddock, the body confidence coach from Heart Your Body, and welcome to this week's episode of Body Confident Friday. In today's video, I want to talk to you about understanding your inner chimp. If you believe that your physical appearance determines your worth, that's a sure sign that your inner chimp is at work. Now, the concept of having an inner chimp comes from a guy called Dr. Steve Peters, who wrote an amazing book called The Chimp Paradox. So here's the book. And in this book, Dr. Peters presents a very simplified model of our psychological mind. And that's to help us understand the different ways that we think. And he divides our psychological mind up into three components. So one component is called the inner chimp, and that's the part of our brain that uses feelings and impressions in the way that it thinks. So it's very emotional in the way that it thinks. Then we've got the human part of our brain, and the human part of our brain is very rational and bases its thoughts on facts and truth. And then there's the computer, which actually processes all this information and then stores all the thoughts that have come from the inner chimp and the human. Now, when it comes to your body image, the chimp mistakenly will lead you to believe that actually your appearance is very important to your worth, whereas the human brain, because it can rationalize, it knows that there's an awful lot more to being a human being than just the way that you look. So if you're constantly having a struggle with believing that your worth is defined by your looks and that other qualities don't have a role to play in who you are as a person, it's likely that your inner chimp is in charge. And just knowing that fact somehow can help to lessen the impact that those thoughts and feelings can have on you. But just to help you a little bit more to manage your inner chimp, I've got 3 tips to share with you. So the first tip is to acknowledge when your inner chimp is in charge of the way that you feel about your body. So just acknowledging that those thoughts and feelings are coming from your chimp, which is not the most rational part of your brain, can sometimes help to lessen their impact. You can then call on your human brain to give you some much needed perspective and balance, because the human brain knows that there's a hell of a lot more to you than just what you look like. The second tip is to bring your chimp to life. So imagine what your chimp looks like, what it sounds like, even give it a name. And when you do this, make your chimp as non-threatening and ridiculous as possible. And when you're having those inner chimp thoughts, when that chatter's going wild, just imagine your visualized version of that chimp talking to you. And when you do that, it helps to lessen the impact of what your chimp is saying, because if you've done your job well and you've made your chimp as unthreatening and ridiculous as possible, it's very difficult to really believe or buy into what your chimp is saying to you. I'm going to share with you what I do. So I would like to introduce you to someone. This is Monkey. Monkey is my inner chimp. And as you can see, Monkey is quite cute and he's really quite non-threatening. So when I'm having those inner chimp thoughts, I'll often imagine that this little guy is saying them to me, and it really takes away the power of those thoughts, because quite frankly, he's not really very threatening, is he? And I also imagine him having a really kind of silly babyish voice as well. So just use the power of visualization to help you silence and take away the power that that inner chimp has. The third tip is to feed your chimp some bananas. Now, I know that sounds really crazy. A really funny thing happened to my husband when I told him about the chimp paradox and the role of the inner chimp. He went to bed one night and he had a dream where he was tossing and turning because there was a chimp in the dream going on about how much work he had to do and how he would never get it all done. And as he tossed and turned, he decided in his dream to feed the monkeys some bananas. And it stopped the chimp's chatter. Now, I know that it sounds crazy, but just give that a go and see if it works for you. And I think because my husband actually fed the chimp bananas, it made the chimp seem really ridiculous and silly, and so again took away the power that the chimp had over him and helped him to get a good night's sleep. So those are my 3 tips for managing your inner chimp. Always be aware that your chimp is alive and well, and a lot of the thoughts that you're having about yourself and your body come from this little guy, but don't let him get control. So I'd love to know how these tips worked out for you in managing your inner chimp, so do leave me a comment below. So that's all we've got for you for this week. Until next week, that's goodbye from me and Monkey. I don't think you'll be seeing him again, but stay body confident and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.